This is Kallie. Kallie doesn't clean her house.
Well, I clean sometimes, you know?
This is Kallie. Kallie sometimes cleans her house.
All right, fair enough. Here's the thing, it's true, I don't really clean my home that much, but in general, it still looks pretty clean. I mean, it definitely depends on when you stumble into my house. If it happens to be 5 p.m. on a rainy Saturday, my kids have been playing all day, it might look like this. But most of the time, it looks like this. Or like this. And even if it looks like this, I can usually get it back to this in 10 or 15 minutes. So often when people come over, they tend to comment that the house looks pretty clean considering we have 4 small kids live here. But don't look too close because there is definitely something sticky on the dining room table. There is always random stuff under the coffee table. There's absolutely laundry that needs to be done. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even really know what this is.
I think it might be something used as a torture device.
No, it's a kid's toy of some kind.
Allegedly.
All right, voiceover guy, you're kind of starting to get on my nerves.
Okay, but I'm just a figment of your imagination.
Oh. All right, well then just buzz off. But what I do know is that I have very simple methods, routines, and little hacks that just make my house look clean, even when it's maybe definitely not. And all of this comes down to the fact that there is clean and there is tidy. Being tidy requires a little bit of time every day, but it also helps prevent you from feeling embarrassed when you have unexpected guests show up. So if you want a house that looks clean without always having to clean, let me share with you simple real life tips that I use to fake a clean home. Number 1, own less stuff. And I am so sorry because I know this one might strike a nerve, but it is so monumentally important that I have to start here. I have been slowly learning to live with less. And I say this because I think for most of us, it's not just something we can turn on and all of a sudden be a minimalist. I think for most of us, at least in my personal experience, it's definitely a process of really decluttering over and over time, getting honest about our buying habits and about how our stuff is impacting our space. And I think that I am a pretty good declutterer, if that's a word, a declutterer. I'm good about finding pockets of time every week to purge certain sections of my home. But a couple of months ago, I did a no-buy month, which if you don't know is basically when you spend an entire month not buying one extra thing beyond the absolute necessities. And that same month that I did a no-buy month, I also did a 1,000 item declutter challenge, and I'll link that video down below. But something about doing those two things in tandem set off like an insane light bulb in my head. I was so amazed at how much easier it was to take care of my home, like mind-blowingly easier. And I was already someone who, like I said, considered herself a pretty good at not keeping a ton of excess. I mean, I make organizational videos on the internet for crying out loud. I have read countless books on clutter, read more research papers on it than I can count, and I know the science and I know the data. But until I experienced it in a kind of more drastic way, the light bulb just didn't flip all the way on. I had it like 75% of the way on. Not only having a space that was free of a lot of excess clutter due to my 1,000 item declutter challenge, I had absolutely nothing new coming into my home from any online purchases or little add-ons that I got at the grocery store. It was astounding to me how much easier it was to tidy my home. It has been proven that when most of us clean our homes, we're actually spending anywhere from 50 to 70% of the time just tending to our stuff. So imagine having less and making that 50 to 70% way shorter. And it wasn't even just the stuff. It's the stuff associated with the stuff. The Amazon boxes I usually had to open, sort, break down, and recycle. The extra bins and containers to store that stuff. The little accessories that went with the stuff. Like everything has to come with its own little charger and replacement pieces and things you have to hold on and store and keep. So the less you own, the easier it is to tidy and the easier it is to keep your home tidy and looking clean. And I understand that I can say this 100 times, but it's likely not going to fully sink in. That light bulb is not going to fully turn on until you experience it in your real life. I experienced this myself. And so I highly suggest you try a no-buy month and possibly pair it up with a few decluttering projects around the house. You're going to be amazed at how much tidier your home seems just by being free of the excess stuff. Quick break to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, which is Narwhal. Now, you have heard me talk about their Freo Z Ultra in the past, which I have used and I love it. It excels at avoiding objects. And so recently I was able to try out the Narwhal Freo Z10 and I adore it. It has all the great things that you would expect from a robot vacuum of this caliber. Things like the amazing 15,000 PA suction, which is really unbelievable at this price. Self-emptying dustbin. This one can hold up to 120 days of dust. And it even has dual flow tangle-free system that handles all the hair and dust without getting caught in the brushes. If you have long hair like me, or you have a pet who just sheds everywhere in the house, you will understand why this is so important. Not to mention, it is super quiet, so I can run it during nap time. But what has really impressed me about this one is the mop extension tech. It not only can handle soy sauce or milk really easily and clean itself so you don't have to break a sweat, but when it detects corners, it actually extends the mop and moves backwards to get every single bit. And the mop washing and drying is so good. It doesn't just rinse, it uses hot water, and then it dries everything to prevent any bacteria and smell, which honestly, that might be one of my favorite parts. I have shared before about convenience illusion and these products that we buy in our lives that claim to make life easier, but just end up requiring more work. The Narwhal Freo Z10 easily passes the convenience illusion check. It does the work without the hassle. So if you are like me and you want to outsource your floor cleaning, check out the Narwhal Freo Z10. Or if your household has a more complicated environment, the Z Ultra will also have a great discount soon for Amazon Prime Day. Check out the Narwhal's anniversary special sale. Subscribe now to the Narwhal Freo Z10 on narwhal.com and you'll unlock an extra coupon code for Prime Day to save an extra $50 off for Prime Day's already lowest prices. Number 2 is make your bed every night and clean your sink every night. No. It's not every night. Number 2, make your bed every morning and clean your sink every night. These two little habits can become anchors in your day. Being tidy is about minimal effort daily to prevent maximum effort later. These can be 2 tidying habits that you do every morning and then 1 every night to anchor your habit. Starting your day with a made bed sets the tone for the rest of the day. When you start with a productive habit, it just means you are way more likely to continue those good productive habits going on. And ending your day with a clean sink means that you are going to wake up in the morning and get to walk down to a clean space to start your day. Most of us start our days in our kitchen, and walking down to a clean space to start it in just sets the tone for the rest of the day as well. So you're kind of anchoring yourself with 2 cleaning habits, the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And you will see that anchoring it with these 2 habits to start and end your day is going to ripple into so many little other routines and habits throughout your day that we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video. Number 3 is make it so easy you can't not do it. And also make it so easy that your husband and kids can't not do it. Here is a very simple example of what I mean. I have made sure that we have a trash can in every single one of our upstairs rooms, like our bedrooms. Is it more trash cans to empty? Yes. But it also keeps these rooms 50 times cleaner because picture this, okay? It's bedtime. I'm getting my kids ready for bed and I'm like, please, for the love of goodness, please just put on your pajamas. I love you so much, but please just go to bed so that I can read my Kindle.
Keep it together.
In case you didn't know, that was my impression of me putting my kids to bed, but you get the point. I'm putting the kids to bed, right? And there are some old papers that my kids were coloring on the floor. They're all crinkled up. I am way more likely to pick them up and toss them away if there's a trash can right there in the room. If there's a trash can down the hall and in the bathroom, it's probably not gonna make it there. Yeah, now I have an extra trash can to empty, but my house is staying so much tidier because it is so easy I can't not do it. It is so easy to throw away trash wherever I am. This is why I have a laundry basket in every single one of the kids' bedrooms, every bathroom, and at the bottom of the stairs. I make it so easy, I can't not do it. I have shared this before, but I don't fold my kids' clothes. I just sort them by type and I throw them in the drawers. So easy, you can't not do it. Number 4, my next tip is to be aware of the junk catchers. These might be baskets, drawers, bowls, whatever, but they are places where essentially we collect junk, the stuff that doesn't have a forever home. Now, sometimes these can be really helpful, right? Sometimes just having a little basket where we can throw the junk that can't get tended to right now is going to make our space look a little tidier than before. And so that can be really helpful. For an example, we have these baskets on our wall in our kitchen for paperwork that we need to get to, but we don't necessarily need to do right now. And we don't need a permanent spot in our home for them. Things like I don't know, a check I need to deposit or an invitation to a kid's birthday party. But what you need to do is be really careful with your junk catchers, because then they tend to be an out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. And once you have tucked something away in a convenient little basket or drawer, you're gonna forget all about it until this junk collector is absolutely overflowing, as well as a few of your other junk collectors, and then you're going to feel really overwhelmed about having all of these junk collectors that you need to declutter. So I warn you not to lean onto them too heavily. A few strategic places can be really helpful, but make them limited and make them intentional, and make sure that you are tending to them every few weeks before they get out of hand. So I'm going to show you an example. This is my biggest junk collector in my house. It serves a purpose. It is in the main living area of our house, and it houses a ton of really important needed stuff that we need on a daily or weekly basis. But it gets out of hand really, really fast because junk just tucks away in here way too easily. If I take 5 to 10 minutes once a month, I can totally stay on top of it, and it can remain its purpose of collecting junk so it's not being an eyesore, but also not creating a problem in itself. Next tip is to clear your flat surfaces. I feel like I say this tip in like 50% of my videos, but it truly, honestly, honest to goodness, is one of the best things that you can do. When your space has a lot of stuff on the counter, it creates a lot of visual noise. Things in your environment that are visually overstimulating your brain is visual noise. It's the mental clutter caused by what your eye sees. Even if your flat surfaces are technically organized, like you have little piles, having too many things out, appliances, mail, snacks, chargers, it all creates additional extra visual noise. And that means that your brain is constantly processing all of these items, even if you're not consciously thinking about them. Every object you leave out is silently saying things to you, right? You should definitely put that away. Don't forget to deal with this. Oh, that reminds me that I need to ABC. It's honestly really exhausting and taxing on your brain even when you don't realize it. But when you clear your flat surfaces, your space instantly feels better. It's calmer, it's more peaceful. With fewer visual distractions, your brain can actually relax. There are less things being thrown at it, and it makes the room feel lighter and easier to be in. I can usually clear the visual clutter in a room in 5, maybe 10 minutes. And it is such a big bang for your buck. If I was having a guest over and I only had 10 minutes to prepare, all I would do was clear off my flat surfaces. I would do a flat surface sweep and remove any excess from the counters, the tables, because it gives the biggest impact for the smallest effort and really gives you a fake clean look. Just don't look at the corners or the floors. Next up is use routines. And this kind of goes off the tip that I shared earlier to make your bed in the morning and clean your sink at night, because to be fair, those are routines. But a few simple routines keep things running on autopilot in your home to keep things looking tidy and clean. Have simple tasks that you do at the same time every day tied to other tasks so you can't simply forget about them. This is why making your bed in the morning is a really good one. You can easily tie it to waking up. Essentially, your habit stacking. So what you want to do is tie it to something you're already doing. You're already waking up every morning, and now you're making your bed when you wake up in the morning. And you can just add a ton of these throughout your day. Sweep the floors after breakfast. Wipe your counters while you brush your teeth. Do a 10-minute tidy while your coffee brews. Empty your dishwasher before you make breakfast. Whatever it is, habit stacking, tidying, and cleaning tasks onto things you are already doing. Just make sure you do them every day until they just start to happen on autopilot. Don't let yourself not do them. Make them non-negotiables, because your brain will love to say, oh, well, we can skip that one today, or I'm too tired, let's just rest for a bit. But if you have set routines and you make them non-negotiables, you eventually can't not do them. Just like you can't go to bed without brushing your teeth. If you do them enough times and force yourself to do them, they become habitual. And on that note about wiping your counters or brushing your teeth, don't forget about the make it so easy you can't not do it rule. If you have to bend down, open a cabinet, get out a spray, you're probably not going to wipe down your counter while you brush your teeth, okay? Too many steps. But if you keep wipes right next to the counter, or you keep rags next to your vanity, it makes it a lot easier to make sure this habit sticks. So while you're thinking about your routines and your habit stacking, ask yourself, how can I make this so easy that I won't not do it? How can I make this that I won't not do it? Yeah, can't not do it. You get what I'm saying. My next trick is to use timers. I love using timers one of two ways. Now, I think most of us know about the power of a 10-minute timer for tidying. It never ceases to amaze me what can be done in 10 minutes. You set a 10-minute alarm, no distractions, no getting sidetracked, and you just tidy for 10 minutes. And no matter how messy the space was, you're gonna notice a difference. And it's usually pretty motivating to let you keep going if you have the time or the energy. Or if you don't, at least the house is 10 minutes cleaner than it was before, right? But another way that I love using timers that I feel like people don't talk about a lot is I will time to see how long something takes. There are so many little tasks that we need to tend to throughout the day that we tend to avoid. Things like, I don't know, for me, it's like a little pile of stuff that needs to go up to the attic, or putting books back on a shelf, or organizing that random little drawer in the kitchen. But the funny thing is these tasks often take us way less time than we think they're going to complete. My big one is taking stuff down to the basement. I don't know why it feels like such a big hurdle to just go down the stairs and put stuff on a shelf, but it always does. So occasionally what I do is I will time myself and I will see how long it takes me to take my pile of things that I have down to the basement. And it has yet to take me more than 60 seconds. And that knowledge is really motivating the next time I go to avoid it. I'll say to myself, this literally will probably take you less than 60 seconds. You can give yourself 60 seconds to clear off the space and get this stuff off of your table and like not have to think about it anymore. And it is just the perfect little motivator to get these little tiny tasks that we tend to avoid done. Okay, my last one is have mantras. I love a good mantra. For me, they just work. I don't know what it is. It's these little sayings that I can say to myself to help me through different scenarios in life. I have some I use for motherhood. I have some I use for work, for productivity. And then I have some that I use to motivate me to clean or to get things done around the house. And the first one is discipline now or regret later. This is the idea that I can either push through and take 10 minutes to do something now, or I can be regretful later that I didn't and probably be annoyed and irritated with myself that I didn't. Number two is you're never gonna feel like it. This is the idea that I don't feel like switching laundry right now. And I'm probably not gonna feel like switching it in 30 minutes or an hour or tomorrow. So if I'm never gonna feel like doing it, I might as well just get it done now. And number three is something is better than nothing. This is for when I'm maybe in a rush or I don't feel like I have the time to tackle a task that feels really big. I remind myself that I can give it maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 minutes. Either way, I will be a few minutes further along than I was had I done nothing. Doing something at least moves the needle along a little bit. Doing a little something is always better than doing nothing. All right, my friends, that does it. Those are some of my favorite little secrets and tips and tricks that I use to fake a clean home. So when people come over, they think it's clean, but it's really not that clean. It's just tidied. And if it's not tidied, I can tidy it pretty quick thanks to these little tricks that I've implemented in my life. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you all in my next video.